Hello, my name is Dr. Hunt. Today I would like to discuss the components of a simple step that we all can take to help prepare ourselves for the unexpected. A pet first aid kit. I would also like to discuss how we might be able to use some of these instruments in helping our pets when the time arrives. Please keep in mind that first aid is intended for two purposes: to either save a life or decrease the pain and suffering of an individual before they seek appropriate medical and professional attention. Remember, save a life, don't self-medicate. The first thing that I would recommend anyone finding themselves in a situation where first aid might be needed is to first contact your veterinary team. As contacting your veterinary team, they might be able to give you specific and direct instructions that could help save a life, as well as prepare for receiving your pet before you arrive. Before you approach your dog or cat or other pet that may be injured, it's important to understand that they do not understand our language, and when they are in pain or in shock or suffering, they can and they will bite, scratch, or kick you, and can injure you or those helping you. So it is mandatory that we appropriately and safely restrain our pets before attempting to service them with first aid. The first item in your kit should be a muzzle appropriately sized for your dog or your cat. I prefer the soft muzzles, which can be obtained at most any pet goods store. The soft muzzle is both comfortable as well as compactable for your first aid kit. When you apply your muzzle, the muzzle should fit snugly around their face and around the back of their head, such that they can't scratch and pull the muzzle off, and then you can place your finger between the muzzle and their face. The second item that would be of use is a simple leash. A leash can service both as a guiding tool for your dog, as well as in the place of a muzzle should you not have one. To make your leash into a muzzle, you can tie an overhand knot in the middle of your leash and place that on the top of your dog's muzzle. Tie an overhand knot under their chin and pull both strands behind their head and tie a bow knot behind the top of their head. Such a use of a leash is an appropriate substitute for a muzzle, as it both protects you and is snug enough that it does not hurt your dog. For cats, a towel or blanket is useful in restraining them from scratching you or those that may be assisting you. By placing the towel on a table or your lap, you can place your cat in the middle of that towel and grab the right corner, pulling it snugly up against their chest in front of their legs, over top of their back and under their belly. By pulling the left corner of the towel up and over the top of their back and under their belly, you now have created a kitty burrito that will help restrain them from scratching you or those assisting you, both their front and back legs. The application of a cat muzzle is similar, and the bottom of the muzzle goes under their jaw, but different in that the top of the muzzle goes over top of the eyes of your cat. Such a muzzle will both service you by not being bitten, and your cat by calming them by covering their eyes. With appropriate restraint, you can then attend your dog or cat appropriately with first aid. Other items that you might need in your first aid kit would be gauze cast padding that can be used in helping to create a bandage or a splint, vet wrap or sports wrap that can be used with its elastic capabilities in building a splint or bandage, which we'll talk about later, and athletic tape. The athletic tape that I prefer is the 3M Transport tape, as it is both breathable as well as not too sticky to hurt your dog or cat. It's important to understand that Band-Aids or other Band-Aids used for humans are not appropriate for your dog or cat. Non-adherent pads for wounds, gauze sponges for both cleaning wounds and for direct application to a wound, a rectal thermometer that is specifically dedicated and only dedicated to your dog or cat, bandage scissors, hemostats, which are a plier-like instrument useful in removing ticks or foreign bodies or splinters, a syringe or bulb syringe that can be used for flushing out wounds or eyes that have foreign bodies in them, saline, physiologic saline. I prefer this over water or wound cleaning or eye cleaning. Hydrogen peroxide, which may be useful in helping induce vomiting. Cornstarch, which can be used for plugging the bleeding quicks or nails when they're cut too short. And lastly, a blanket that can be used for helping comfort your dog or keeping them warm when they are too cold. I hope you have found today's video instructional and helping you obtain and prepare yourselves for pet first aid with the Pet First Aid Kit. Thank you for your time.